Okay, we finally got a day. She's above zero. I think it's like 8 above. And in theory, it's going to get up to, around the freezing mark today. So I got a lot of stuff that I have to do. But I thought I would bring up something that people who have been on the channel a long time know this, but there's been like a couple thousand new people. And this whole having comments closed confuses them. Now, I normally do this a lot of the time. Actually, I have comments closed more often than I do open. I open them if there's something where people, a discussion can be educational. But when I get into politics or opinion, I mean, that's not something I'm going to discuss with people. I'll give you my point of view. This is my soapbox. If you have something to say, obviously, if you're able to comment, you have a channel of your own, go ahead, get on your own soapbox. But, I don't have to let people on this one. I mean, it's handy at times, if people want to make comments, if there's something that, like I say, people can learn something from it. But what tends to happen in a lot of the videos I do, they'll just end up to be arguments. People devolve into name calling very quickly. You maybe don't see a lot of them because as soon as they come in, I delete them. And often block the people that were doing it. I mean, on average, I bet I block a person a day. It just happens. People, for some reason, think they can behave badly, and it's acceptable, and it just isn't. So I block them. And sometimes, like say the one I did a short while ago. About unvaccinated people inheriting the earth. Of course, there's going to get a lot of dislikes about that. People would love to go on and rant, but I know this is going to happen. I was surprised to see that YouTube left that video up. That's one of the reasons I didn't leave comments open, because it pays. If I leave comments open, I make more money on the video, but I actually expected that video would be taken down. I was pretty sure that was going to happen. I'm willing to take a hit if I can say what I want to say. But surprisingly, they left that up. It'll maybe catch up to me later, but, that's all right. Because there's something coming down the line here. I can gradually see a shift in people's attitudes toward this whole virus situation. This is a good thing. People are actually learning to think for themselves for a change instead of just towing the party line on this. So, that'll change. But one of the things I was going to mention in that video and I didn't bring up because I thought it'd get me nailed for sure. Well, I figured it was going down anyway, but there was a study that was done that I thought was really interesting, and it had to do with development in infants born since the pandemic started. That they have noticed a marked decrease in their development, that they, like normally they have things, they chart this out, the progress of their development by, when they first roll over on them by themselves, or when they can sit up by themselves, or when they first walk, that sort of thing. There's a pretty standard basis there that they go by. And they have noticed that the kids have been set back. Now, their reasoning behind this, that they didn't go too far into, but they said, well, it has to do with the the stress the mothers were under because of the pandemic, that this set the kids back. But it got me thinking, for a while there, they were encouraging pregnant mothers to get vaccinated. Now, I would like to see, I'm sure they have this information, I'm sure it was part of this study, but of these kids, how many of them were from vaccinated mothers and how many were unvaccinated? This would be very telling. And I think that's why they neglected to mention that. Because I would think it'd be very important, but they completely skirted over that issue. But I think we're gonna find out some things about that. Because if there's a discrepancy between the kids of vaccinated mothers and unvaccinated mothers, that's a sign. That's something you got to be watching. But there's been all kinds of complications from this. In fact, there's some countries that certain vaccines that they refuse to use because of the level of complications from them. But I know I was listening to one medical guy, and he was saying, well, he figured a year, it's going to take a year before we accept the problems that we have created. Because they're gradually now saying, oh, well, okay, this could be a problem, that could be a problem, there's going to be a lot of problems. But these things are going to come out. And gradually people are going to accept them, but then it's going to be a nightmare for like another 3 years trying to deal with these problems, because there are going to be, there's a history of this sort of thing happening when they rush a medicine onto the market, and it can drag on for, 15 years. I mean, this could affect reproduction for a long time. So I think we are going to see a lot of problems, but it's good to see that gradually people are coming to accept that there are problems, that, it's funny, I don't know why people don't have more hesitation in this, because they certainly should have. But there's many places now where they're saying, oh, I don't know. Oh, well. We'll see if they'll probably take this one down. If I disappear for a week, well, the phone is a little chancy yet. I'm working on that. I have found, like say now, I'm using the phone to record this, works fine. I have no signal, but I can record on it. Now I have to bring it in the house or put it on an inside pocket to get it warmed up, and as long as it doesn't get in a cold draft, I think I can upload it. But I want to try to keep it short. If I came out here to pick something up, then I got to find that. But I got a lot of projects going on. But you will see a change in attitude. Though, I mean, there's still a lot of people that are, I've just kind of written off, is that they will never come to their senses. Even when they were showing some of them Supreme Court justices, what they were talking about, the complete nonsense that they were talking, that's spooky that you have people that ignorant on the Supreme Court. But I do feel for future generations. I think this is going to be something that's going to be, you're going to have to live with it. But it's going to be a tough thing, and the problem is that there's no going back from it. Yes, this is one friendly cat. I was hoping to sneak out here without the cat following. I left the dog home, but no, cat had to follow. But I do see a little change coming in attitudes. People are realizing that these big pharmaceutical companies are not your friend. They're not looking out for your best interests. Our government is not looking out for your best interests. They're filling their pockets. Well, they can. But hopefully it'll turn around. Like I say, I see slight changes. You know, people saying, "Oh, wait a minute," you know, and that they should have done that a year ago. But I think the damage is done. God darn cat. Well, let's see if I can get this uploaded and see if it stays up. But when there's comments are closed, and there's always a reason for it. You know, it isn't like YouTube is closing the comments. YouTube will pull a comment if somebody makes an obnoxious comment that people complain about to them if they report it. You know, I don't bother reporting. I just take them down and block them. But if those comments closed, I closed them. YouTube will take down. YouTube doesn't close comments. But I think it's encouraging, actually, even that YouTube didn't take that other video down. You know, I think there's so much pushback about the amount of censorship they're doing. You know, I think that they've relaxed a little. But you never know with them people. But hopefully, yeah, cat, you got to be on top of me. Hopefully a change will come. But some of this stuff you cannot undo. There are going to be a lot of health problems in the future that will be, eventually people will be able to attribute it directly to these vaccines. But since you gave those companies immunity, good luck with that. But I see attitudes changing. But just way too late. But I would like to see that study. I would like to see all of the data they had from that study. I'd like to see which kids came from vaccinated and which from unvaccinated. That would tell you a hell of a lot. Or it should get your attention anyway. Go home, cat.